Welcome back to the SFL Podcast here, presented by APM Music. I am the SFL Assistant Director of Player Personnel, Ryan Karpinski, and we are back with our usual analysts this week. We have Roby of the London Knights. How you doing, Rob?
Doing pretty good, man. How you doing?
Surviving. It's been a crazy first 3 weeks of this season, but we'll see how it goes.
Yes.
And joining us as well, we have the owner of the Mexico City Aztecs, Ramos Lynn. How are you doing, Ramos?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited about this week of SFL action. We're going to have again football in the front page of Twitch, so that's phenomenal news.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's fantastic. And we have some great teams that are making some splashes, and there are teams that are starting to get on a rough stretch right now, but we know that they can pick it up and make the playoffs still.
Yeah, I mean, one of those teams you mentioned it. One of the teams that are starting off a little bit slow, the Tallahassee Pride. They are the runner-up for the last 2 seasons. Unfortunately, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, as we always say. And they had a little bit of a rough go this last week. I mean, the last 2 times they played this team, it was the same result. So I don't know how many people actually expected them to actually 100% beat them. And of course, their rivals this week were the Alaska Storm. They ended up losing 26-10. What did you guys think about that one?
I think that game is always it's always an either or outcome, man. You know, it's hardly ever a close game. It's always one team is dominating the other in some kind of fashion. You know, I thought it was an interesting game, but I didn't think it would be any different. You know, I thought it'd definitely be either a super blowout or just a regular game. I think 26-10 is a pretty regular game. Definitely not for Tallahassee, but
Yeah, no,
for
definitely.
the Storm, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And the play who really changed the game was the number one play by Quip that we saw in the top 10 plays, where Christensen gets hit. The ball pops up like 20 feet in the air, and it gets caught by the Alaska defender and runs it back for 6. At that point, the game was 6-3, and it was a very competitive game. And by the time that happens, the game is now 13-3 going to halftime, and that really, completely changed the game and just gave Alaska all the momentum.
Yeah, it seemed kind of like that play was the falling off point for Tallahassee, is where the wheels just kind of came off. I mean, granted, they didn't get completely blown out from that point on, but I mean, they just never really recovered, it seemed.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, speaking of other teams that have had a kind of a different start than what we're normally used to seeing them, what's one of the teams, or maybe 1 or 2 teams that you guys have seen through the first 3 weeks that you guys feels like, wow, what happened to this team? Either like they're nothing like they were last season. They were winning really big or they were losing really big. Which probably at least 1 or 2 teams. What are 2 teams that stand out to you guys?
For me, I'm not sure if you want to start first, Rob.
Oh no, go ahead. You go ahead.
Well, for me, it has to be Denver. It has to be Denver. Last season, they went 3-9, and they already tied that victory number at 3-0 this season.
Yeah, that's a great start for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a phenomenal start, and they are at home again against a very good Dallas team. Let's see how they fare. But I really like how this Denver Nightwings are. On offense, they just dropped 44 points against San Francisco. So this team in Denver has really figured things out offensively. I think that defensively, they still have ways to go a little bit. They are a little bit inconsistent, but it's nothing that cannot be fixed. So their offense, to Jeremy's benefit and to Jeremy's credit, they have figured it out. And if they can score 40 points every game or every other game, we're going to see the Denver team in the playoffs. And, they have to be the, big surprise this season, at least so far, in a positive manner. Last season, Denver were a team that got into close games and they just couldn't close it out. And now it seems that they are turning the tide on that and 3-0, and we see it all the time. Team that first season or first couple of seasons, they start in a rough stretch, but by their second or third year, they start to figure it out. And I'm happy for the Nightwings and see if they can keep it going.
Yeah, and real quick to kind of jump on that as well, we all remember last season when Denver and San Francisco came down to that infamous onside kickoff for San Francisco recovery.
Oh
So
yeah,
I feel that this game was a little bit of a measure of revenge for them, and I bet this one feels really good for Jeremy and the squad.
yeah, I
Definitely.
agree.
What about you, Rob?
I think right now, obviously it's definitely Denver. I mean, 3-0. That's just a tremendous start, you know. But also just looking at Vancouver, man. I mean, you know, they're 2-1. You know, they had the shocking win the first week, and the second week, you know, they did get the loss, but another big win this week. You know, and they're 2-1, and I think that they're you know, I think that they're looking like a team. You know, I mean, 38-3, you know, over Chicago, you know. I think that they're looking like a pretty good team. I mean, Chicago, I mean, you got to give hats off to them, man. I know my man Shan is over there listening to it right now. But you know, they beat you know, QCC, you know, and then they turned around and you know, got another W, you know, at Mexico City. So that's a pretty good team, man. And you know, for Vancouver just to, you know, knock that team off after, you know, after they beat QCC in Mexico City. I mean, I think that says a lot, man. They did it in a you know, convincing you know, fashion. So you know, the 38-3. So I think that that's something we need to look at as we continue to go forward. You know, and look at Vancouver and see what they're really doing. I mean, maybe they are the real deal. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, no, I agree entirely. Chicago has been a perennial football team that's been ended up in the playoffs nearly every year. Um, and I know at the end of the last season, season 11, they actually had a pretty good win streak heading into the playoffs. So I mean, it was something really nice to build off of. And I mean, then they, like
right.
you said, they had a good first 2 weeks and everything. And then all of a sudden, Vancouver comes in and just blows them out of the water. It's really crazy to see.
Hmm.
So both you guys kind of went with teams that have been turned their fortunes around. They've been losing, they've been winning. I'm gonna go in the opposite direction here, and I know it's my former alma mater before I became the assistant director of player personnel. And I know this is gonna drive Eddie Gage and Demond Simeon crazy for me even mentioning it, but the Houston Hyenas so far, 0-3. The kicker has the most points, and that's because they haven't even scored an offensive touchdown yet through 3 weeks.
Oh
And
man.
I'm gonna say you play these games a million times over. I think out of that a million times, you probably have a handful of games where they don't score a single offensive touchdown.
Yeah.
It just feels like a run of bad luck for them. I mean, they did run into a tough Mexico City team. I mean, Mexico City's defense has always been a great defense. It and I mean, hats off to you, Ramos. You guys do a great job over there on the defensive side. It's just I'm not quite sure what's going on with them, honestly, with the Hyenas. They lost last week's was it 13-6 against Mexico City. They lost
Hmm.
week 2 Carolina 24-13. And their touchdown in that one, I believe, was a kick return by a non-contract receiver. Um, and then they lost 24-12 at home in week 1 against the New Orleans Pharaohs. So
Yeah.
basically, through 3 weeks, their kicker has kicked about 9 field goals. So I mean, he's probably getting ice baths every
Mm.
night and everything. But like I said, I feel that you play these games a million times. You'll get, I'm gonna say, maybe even like 10 games that will tell you, hey, they didn't score a touchdown. And and you look at this like, is this, what is this? This is the team that went to the semifinals the last 2 seasons. Like, what happened here? What's going on? And I know Demond is just, he's going insane. He's driving himself crazy. I'm sure with all of the labbing and simming and play and coaching and game planning and everything he's doing. And I have 100% faith that he's going to turn this around. But the start of this is going to be a little difficult for him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll
and
be a shocker.
it's a shocker and it's bizarre because this team has a lot of talent. You look at Kentes Johnson, Pro Bowl quarterback. You look at Murray, the Pro Bowl running back. Dr. Sam, Hall of Fame receiver. I mean, Justin Cliff. I mean, you see all those guys, and it's like, how is this team not scoring 30 points a game?
Yeah,
So, and that's the shocker, and not to discredit the Pharaohs, this is not to discredit anybody, but because they have good defense on their own, but it's weird in the SFL that a team doesn't score offensive touchdowns in a game, let alone three straight. So if there's a team that can turn Georgia around, it's Houston, I think, of all the teams, because they have the coaching staff and they have the talent and they have I know as a good fact, they have the, the connection on their teams that they are doing the progressions, they are doing everything needed to lift this team. And Houston is a proud franchise. This is a team that's been in the championship game before. They were one game away last season from getting to the championship game. So, it's a shocker, it's bizarre, but I think that Houston is a team that can really turn it around with the coaching staff that they have.
yeah, I would have to agree with that. Basically, I mean, it's one of those things where it seems like the small things don't quite go in their direction, and then the next thing you know, it just snowballs. And
Right.
I'm like we said, I'm positive they're gonna right the ship here. Hopefully, it'll be this next week. This next week they are they're playing at home against the Vancouver Legion, which we know just shellacked the Chicago Wildcats, another playoff team. So I mean, it's not going to be a walk in the park, but I do think at least they get on the right track. If they don't win, they'll at least put up a couple touchdowns. So speaking in next week, though, are there any games in particular that you guys are kind of looking at? Like, is there any game that you look at the schedule and it just jumps out at you like that's a game I need to watch?
Let's see for next week,
Yeah, week 4.
week four,
Yeah,
man.
there's a couple of them, most definitely. I'm gonna stick with Denver. I'm gonna say Dallas and Denver. You look at two teams that are right now. Dallas is 2-1, and Denver is 3-0, and they are possibly two of the best offenses in the league. So this is going to be high scoring. This is going to be high scoring. I will not be surprised if both teams get in the 40s. Something like 44 to 41 or 45 to 42, something like that.
Yeah, you're thinking
Uh,
we're gonna have kind of a repeat of Denver's last week game.
Yeah, but essentially because Dallas can put some points as well. You know how they like to throw the ball all over the place, but now they have Zandlin as well running the ball. So Dallas has become an offense that is very balanced, with still, they still prefer the pass. I mean, they still have the big pass in place, but
Yeah.
this is a team that is a little bit more balanced now, and Denver is now scoring a bunch of points. So that's for me the game. That's for me the game, and we'll see if Denver can win this game, be 4-0. Watch out because their offense is clicking. The defense is again inconsistent, but I mean it's basically like as if they cannot score everybody, I mean they're gonna be winning most of the games. So uh, I'm gonna say that that's the game to look out, and it's gonna be on the Blitz package alongside with four other games.
Oh yeah. And for those of you that don't really know what that is at the top at the moment, today we had a announcement in one of our channels here, and also the broadcast schedule being announced inside the Discord. Um, we are going to be having a special front page broadcast on Twitch on Sunday, and it'll be featuring be basically what you would call a red zone package. It's going to be going between all the different games. It's going to be showing you highlights. It's going to be showing you all the different things. So it's something you guys definitely want to check out. We call it the SFL Blitz, and if you had one place to get all of your action in one time, this is it. This is the one day you do not want to miss. So, and just to kind of
Yeah,
also go on top of with the Dallas and Denver game, they are, I believe, the top two scoring teams, or at least one of the two of the top three scoring teams in the SFL. Um, and definitely a change of pace from what they were doing the at least last 2 seasons. Dallas has almost 100 yards rushing a game, and that's very, very different from what they used to be doing. They barely ran the ball last year, and this year they're they're going insane. Almost 100 yards a game, 383 passing yards a game. I believe that's the most yards per game in the SFL by about 50 yards total for passing and rushing. So I mean, this should be a explosive game between the two of them, and I'm excited to watch it as well on the blitz.
Yeah, I'm also excited to see the Las Vegas Fury versus Tallahassee Pride game. Still shocked to see the 0-2 Tallahassee Pride. Currently at their standing, and then Las Vegas, 2-0, 3-0. Sorry. I think that's going to be an excellent game. I want to see if the Fury are who they say they are, and I also want to see whether or not Tallahassee is going to bounce back. Can you imagine them going 0-3? To start the season?
Yeah, no. I mean, two seasons ago they were undefeated up until season 10, undefeated up until the championship game.
Yeah.
Last season they only lost 2 games, I think it was, except aside from the championship game. Yeah. This season they've already equaled their loss total for the last 2 seasons combined in the regular season. If they lose another one, what happens? I mean,
this season
you can't have a fire sale. I mean, it's not so much a league that we can do that kind of thing in.
This is definitely feeling like a dice roll season right now already for several teams. So I think that's going to be a big game. The other game I'm very interested in seeing is going to be the Chicago Wildcats versus the New Orleans Pharaohs. I mean, both of these teams, man, just got some, punchy defenses and some good offenses and stuff. And so I think that's going to be a good game. Trying to see if Chicago is, they're going to walk the walk. And, who doesn't like to see big old Xander Gold, down there doing his thing and throwing the ball around the guys and, getting the run game going. And I think that's going to be a very good, solid matchup right there. So those are my 2 games. I do have another game I want to see too.
Yeah,
but
go ahead. Go ahead.
My boy, I want to see. But yeah, speaking of rolling, I want to see my boy Reggie Streeter get rolling against that Indianapolis Spitfire, man. Little shameless plug right here, man. But London is looking like a decent team. I mean, aside from the turnovers, if you like defense, this is the team to watch when you're talking about defense, right? Mm-hmm. So. And definitely the running game is shining. I think Reggie's had multiple games already over 100 yards. So that's also a game. I'm a little biased, obviously, but that's also a game I definitely want to see, man. But I really like the new setup, with the games, and I feel like there's so much more competitive games now, man. And it just really feels like guys, teams have a chance now, a fighting chance. Not they're not facing Goliaths everywhere, or whatever, So.
Yeah, I agree with you actually. When the mega conference, I guess we can call it, was revealed, where it'd just be the SFL would be one big conference and we do competitive scheduling. We know it was quite the backlash to it. Not many people really were sure how it was going to work. But I mean, seeing it through these first 3 weeks, we've had some very competitive games. Yeah. I mean, even some of the ones that were blowouts then ended up not even being blowouts until like the second half. Like that first half of the game, they were neck and neck. I mean, much like the Alaska and Tallahassee game, like Ramos said, that interception pick 6 didn't happen until literally the final ticks of the first half. And even then it was only, I think you said like 13-3, 13-6, something like that.
Yeah, Vancouver and Chicago, and sorry for interrupting, Vancouver and Chicago, because I was calling the game with James. But by halftime, I think it was, if I remember correctly, something like either 14-3, if I recall, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was, a game within reach.
And it was competitive. It was, we saw some Chicago good plays, but Vancouver got it back, or we got some stuff for Chicago, and then in the second half, just Vancouver ran away with it. But by halftime, it was a very competitive game.
Yeah, and so I mean, going bouncing back a little bit forth, going back and forth. Um, I believe it was you, Rob, were saying you were also looking forward to the Las Vegas Fury game versus
Yep.
Tallahassee.
Yep. Definitely.
They are always going to be one for me right now. They're always going to be a game that I want to watch. They didn't have a game this last week because of their bye week, but let's
Mhm.
remember what they did back in week 2. Do you guys know what I'm alluding to here? They had
Oh.
3 blocked punts in that game.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right.
Granted, they barely squeaked the win out against Baltimore in week 2,
Yeah.
but 3 blocked punts in a game that I can't even tell you the last time I heard a
Yeah.
3 blocked punts in a season, let alone
That's ridiculous.
one game.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they're one that I definitely want to keep an eye on. If their
Mhm.
special teams constantly balls out like that, that's going to give them that competitive edge every week. And I mean, we saw they needed every competitive edge they got back in week 2 against Baltimore, winning 31-30.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. And when you look at, special teams, some of the best teams in the SFL historically are the ones with the best special teams. You look at Alaska with a kicker, and shameless plug, I'm going to include us. And in Vegas, yeah, and in Vegas, they have the contracted kicker, they have the returner, they have Itera right there in the punt coverage. So
and if I
that's a
remember
pretty,
right, they also have a contracted punter as well. I think it's
yeah,
Dustin
yeah,
McCrack as
you're
well. Yeah.
right. You're very right. So they have, in talent wise, by far the best special teams unit in the entire league, and the special teams pretty much alone won them one of the games.
Yep.
So against Baltimore. So if they can continue with this, if they can score a field goal and the other team misses the field goal because they don't have the star kicker, that's gonna win them ball games. And Vegas, in the clutch, could be one of the best teams in the league
Yeah.
because of the special teams edge. So it's compelling to see, and it's very very good to see this different approach to building their squad, and they really put a big emphasis on their special teams, and it's panning out.
Yeah, and I mean, last season we also saw Max Jackson early in the season. He had 3 straight games with a kick return touchdown. So he had 3. He had 3 straight games. He had at least one return touchdown. So you could kind of see the beginnings of their formulating of the special teams last season, and this season looks like it's come pretty much to fruition, and it's paying off big time for him.
If you would have told me that the combined records of Alaska, Tallahassee, and Houston would be 1-6 through the first quarter of the season, I would say you were lying.
I honestly would have laughed at you. I honestly would have laughed at you like there's no way, you're insane.
Yeah, just weird. It's just weird. No, hats off to everybody at the top, though. Of course. But just looking at that, man, it's just I'm wondering what's going on, man. What's changed, man? Does somebody have the blueprint out there? What's going on? I mean, those are like big teams, man. I mean, we were just talking about Kentez and Houston, in the playoffs and everything, the
Oh
push
yeah.
that they had, and him getting the offensive rookie of the year and all that stuff. And man, I just I wouldn't believe they would be 1-6.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's those 3 teams that ended up being 1-6 at the week 4 mark of the season is just crazy. Honestly, you
Yeah.
would have never expected it, especially based on how last season ended, um, with Alaska and Tallahassee in the championship game, and then Houston in the semifinals, along with I believe it was Mexico City was the other semifinal team, and
And
and I believe let's see here. 1-6 for those 3, and then you have 2-1 for Mexico City. So basically, those 4 teams are 3-7, and those were the
yeah,
top 4 teams from last season. And I mean, that's just that. How often do you have such a vast turnaround in just one off season?
yeah. And you got the Sharks sitting there at 9, and they have better records than all of them.
Yep. Well, they're tied with Mexico City, but
Well, yeah.
so, and I will actually another real quick shout out there as well. Ramos, your team over there in Mexico City, they've never really been known as an offensive powerhouse. I mean, I don't mean to kind of rag on you for it, but certainly this season has been quite the different story for that. I mean, you guys are averaging almost 30 points a game, 92 rushing yards, it looks like, and about 260, 270 yards passing. I'm not asking for any secrets on it, but I'm like, does this start to your offense this season so far? Kind of, does that actually surprise you? I mean, obviously you're the coach, you kind of know the playbook, but are you surprised at how well it's been working?
Well, I'm not going to use the word surprised because that's basically what we have built for now, full season and change.
Hmm.
We knew that last season was going to be kind of a struggle in a sense, and and it was going to pick up eventually, right? Now with the player progression and all that good stuff,
Yeah,
now it's really starting to what word can I say?
it's really
Starting
kind of
to
culminating now. It's kind of coming to,
yeah,
and like I
Coming
said,
to fruition.
I was just gonna say, like I said earlier about Las Vegas, coming to fruition. Everything, all it's the
exactly.
best laid plans, and they're all coming together. Yeah.
Exactly, everything is clicking. You know, last season, if you looked at the player rankings and everything, whatever you can call it, both Matt Wilson and Ray Bentley, who are the stars of the offense, we can say, and the captains and the leaders of
Mm-hmm.
this offense, they were respectively talent wise or in their overall average, the worst quarterback and running back in the entire league because we wanted to build them from the ground up.
Yep.
And now we are, yeah, now we are seeing Matt Wilson starting to build up consistently, Ray Bentley starting to build up consistently, and it's been a process. But now you see the Ray Bentley, maybe not that we saw in season 9, but now with a little bit of speed, he's breaking more tackles.
Yep.
He's been more consistent. Matt Wilson still throwing a few interceptions, but his arm looks better than in last season to begin the season. So basically, we to answer your question, not surprised. I was hoping to see a very good offense, maybe a little bit later in the season, maybe to begin the season to be a good offense, and by mid late that's this same season to be a very good offense. So I'm happy that the offense is working better
Yeah.
than and
I
sooner than I expected.
yeah, I feel you. All right. So, what about you guys over there in London, there, Rob? I mean, you guys, you're on a 1-2 start. It's not probably
Mhm.
the start you guys are wanted. Um, but this season you guys have a star running back and in Reggie Streetha,
Street talk.
and he looks like he's actually having a pretty good season to start with here. He's got the offense as a whole is averaging 110 yards rushing. You yourself look like you're averaging about 312 passing. So I mean, you guys are putting up those numbers, those yardage numbers. You're putting up the points. You're putting up 29 points a game as well.
Mhm.
What do you guys feel that it is you're going to need? I don't want to put your coaches on blast, and I just kind of want your
Oh
opinion
no.
on it. What do you
Yeah.
feel would be the best thing to happen for you guys to be able to turn it around?
I think we're just going to continue to try to eliminate the turnovers. I think the turnover battle has been pretty much our Achilles heel. Obviously I've got 10 interceptions, man. So that's killed us, man, because a few of those I think have been pick sixes. And it's one of those things where the defense is doing really really well. The offense is also doing really really well when it gets going. But at times, Roby makes these just terrible passes, man. That get us in a lot of trouble. So I think that getting more control of that position, so that it can fully operate with the rest of the offense. I mean, the rest of the offense is just phenomenal. I mean, when Donnie and James and McCarron, they make those McCarroll, they make those catches, just it looks so beautiful, man. And then you see Reggie, in the power run, and he's always bailing the offense out. And so I think that once we can get a little bit control more of the offense, and limit the mistakes, I think that we're going to be a very very tough to beat. I think that we've proved that we're a tough team to beat. In the past few weeks. I mean, Even that first week, I need to go back here for just a moment, but I tell people, in that first week that we were playing and we had, the six turnovers.
Yep.
I mean, we were still like, first of all, we were still in that game.
Yeah, I mean, you
mean?
guys only lost
Like,
by 4, 17-21. So I mean, you
yeah,
were definitely
yeah,
still in it.
yeah. We were still in that game, man. And I mean, our defense only gave up 14 points.
Yep.
And when you get 6 picks, man, you're expecting it to be a Cas McFly party, you know what I mean? But it clearly wasn't that, and then we came and we only lost by 3 to Denver, they were at home and we put up 38 points on them,
Not just by 3. You guys also scored a touchdown with as the time expired to go to overtime. Not just by 3, but 3 points in overtime.
Right. So looking at that, and then obviously we were just so relieved with the win this week against a top team. I mean, STO has been a good team. You can't take anything away from them. And we finally got our groove. We got to the Queensway, and got a home game finally. So we're headed into week 4, and we're really really trying to get a win. You know what I mean? And so obviously it'll be difficult being on the road. But I know that the guys have been working really, really hard on limiting the turnovers. Really, really excited about the team is just progressing. Everyone's progressing, man. That's a big deal. The game planning is going really good behind the scenes, and everybody's working together, man. And so I think that we got off to a little bit of a rocky start, but I think that not that I don't want to call it too early, but I definitely think that London is somebody that you're going to have to really take serious this year, more so than years past.
No, I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, so we've kind of looked at games that were surprises, games that we're looking forward to. We've kind of talked about your respective teams a little bit here, kind of how we feel the season's going so far and everything. So what is one team this week? I know we talked about the games. What is one team this week you think is going to make a big statement that's going to make the SFL? They're going to just look at the SFL and respect us now.
Vancouver, man.
All right.
Vancouver, man. I think that people still are doubting them. I don't think people really believe that this team is, really what it is, and I think that they have everything to prove and everything to lose. I mean, when you look at the rest of the teams, I mean, I think that that's definitely the team that's going to say, hey, I don't know, are we the new Alaska? Are we the new Tallahassee? I don't know, man. I think they have a big chip on their shoulder there. And what better than to actually go in and beat the Houston Hyenas in the Hyena Den, right? In week 4, man, and come out and go, what is it, 3-1? And I mean, they'll have a lot of flex power right there, if they decide if they can pull that game out. So I think they're definitely a team, that's kind of turning the SFL on its head a little bit, and doing some different things, and
And we all kind of saw it when they first signed all their members this offseason, that people started kind of jokingly calling them the meme team. With some of the people that were on the team now. But I mean, all jokes aside, this team is looking really legit so far through the first 3 weeks. Andy Hamilton's really got this crew going really like a well-oiled machine, it looks like already. And it is, like I was saying earlier, the Hyenas, they may not win, but I do feel they get a few touchdowns. But right now, with how Vancouver's looking, they looking really scary.
Yeah, I agree.
So what about you, Ramos? Is there any one specific team that's just you feel is gonna stand above the rest this week, just gonna make that absolute statement win?
I could go Denver because I'm really liking how they're playing this, but I'm gonna go San Francisco. San Francisco is a team that not many people talk about, maybe very often, right? But they are playing at home against Oklahoma City, a team in Oklahoma City that has a very good offense and plays defense sometimes very good, sometimes not that good. But I like San Francisco, and I like what they're doing offensively with the running back. They got Jacob Gustafson, they got all those guys, and I'm really liking San Francisco right now. And if, I think they're gonna get a big win this week at home, double-digit win, and with that, they will be 3-1. So at 3-1, they're looking good to start this season, and I think San Francisco is that team that's gonna get the big statement win and
Okay.
get some more recognition in the league.
All right.
Hey Ryan, can I add one more in?
Yeah. What's up? Go ahead.
Man, I think we need to watch out for old Ashley Jackson down there in Tulsa too, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna be honest. I was wondering.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you were gonna bring her up.
Yeah, man. Look, I'm all about equality, man. You know what I mean? But
100%.
guys like to give her a hard time a little bit, man. You know what I mean? And to be 2-1 and to actually go into STL and come out 3-1 for the Tulsa Desperados, that's a big statement, man. You know? So that might be another one. I didn't see that one there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
You know?
And you look back at last season. I believe they started out. I want to say it was like maybe 1-6 or 0-6 or something like that. I could be 100% wrong. I don't remember specifically, but I mean the start that they've had so far this season is with Ashley Jackson as their quarterback, and still having Sonzo Robinson after a year season of progression in that backfield.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely looking like they're going in the right direction now. So it's
Right.
another game that could be a really good one to watch here. So and just basically it's going to come down to a lot of good games here, and just looking through here, the SFL Blitz, just to kind of run it down real fast so you guys know kind of the schedule out there. Sunday is the SFL Blitz. All of the games are going to be at 7 p.m. Central Time. They're all going to be broadcasted on YouTube, but we're going to have our SFL Blitz playing on Twitch. So the 5-game block we're going to have is Tallahassee at Las Vegas, Oklahoma City at San Francisco, New Orleans Pharaohs at Chicago Wildcats, Mexico City at Atlanta Swarm. Mexico City Aztecs. I've been saying everyone's full names, and I just stopped at Mexico City. And then we got the Dallas Lobos versus the Denver Nightwings. So, I mean, that block of games is actually going to be a really good block of games, I feel. And definitely the some of the teams we're talking about are in there. And so, if you're going to want to catch all those games at once, just make sure you guys check out Twitch. I know I've plugged it a few times here. We're going to be on the front page, but it's something that's definitely you guys want to check out. We had a little preliminary SFL Blitz that we debuted a season ago that was more kind of like a highlight show, like Sports Center, what have you. But this one's going to be a whole different beast. So if you think you know what it's going to be, I'm just going to tell you now, you have no idea.
Yeah. Hey Ryan, I think I've figured out what's going on with all this disruption in the SFL right now.
What's that?
I think it's the logos, man.
The
Just
new
blame
logos.
it on the logos.
That's right. There
yeah,
we go.
man. So what it is
It's got
Denver
people amped.
but Denver is really Alaska. You know what I mean?
Not only did we switch logos, we switched teams here, and they're
they switched
all
the teams.
It's just a big troll job by all the owners.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. Denver is really Alaska, and Fury are really who are they going to be? Tallahassee, and who's to them? When the Sharks are really QCC. so yeah, man, we got to get these logos straight, man.
So so speaking of the logos, I don't remember if we went over them originally in the season, in the off season when they were first kind of announced. Other than your own teams, if you really like your own team's logo, that is, what's one of the new logos that you guys were like, damn, that definitely shows what that team's about?
Oklahoma City.
OKC?
That one's nice.
That one is. Really
and because of the background, because I know Michael Ryan, former vet, and all that good stuff, and that really represents OKC, the Renegades. That's really, when I think about that team, all their history, it's that figure. I don't know, it's just dealing with the colors.
No, I'd have to agree with you.
Yeah, OKC is just a great brand. It's just a great brand with this new logo.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty much a fan of all the logos. I really like I actually like Mexico City's, man. On a
Thanks.
low. I hope Liam doesn't hear this, man. I think I want to give me a hat. I want to give me a Mexico City hat, man. You know, can I say
Yeah,
that?
no,
No,
go ahead.
no, but no, but yeah, I really I like that logo, man. You know, and I think most of the logos, I don't. There's not really one that I actually don't like at all. I think they're all pretty good, man.
Yeah, and I
You know?
mean, we also saw the new Indianapolis rebrand finally. It was kind of kept under wraps for a while. The Indianapolis Spitfire now,
Oh yeah, yeah.
formerly known as the Red Devils.
Hmm.
And I'm not gonna lie, I like it. I mean,
Yeah,
the Red Devils was nice, but this one definitely feels a lot like a more Indianapolis feel to me. Um,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, the Red
Right.
Devils, like I said, it was a nice one. It was a nice logo. It was everything about it was pretty good. But I feel like
Mhm.
this new logo and new name kind of takes it up to that next level.
Yeah, it definitely is a much nicer logo than the one they had, and it's unique. It's different,
Yep.
you know. So yeah, yeah, I agree.
All right. So here we are. We've talked about a couple weeks of games. We've talked about uh, the previous weeks, the new weeks. We've talked about some of our big games we're looking forward to. Now we're gonna get. I want to get into just give me one individual player that has just stood out to you above the rest.
Hmm.
This is
One
your time.
individual
Give them a
player.
shout out.
Ooh.
One individual player that's has
That
stand
you
out
feel has
above
just
the
stood up
rest.
in your own opinion. It doesn't have
Ooh.
to be specifically by stats. It doesn't matter to me. I'll go ahead and kick it off. And actually, I'm gonna go ahead and say Zach Sandlin over there for Dallas.
Yeah, I thought about him.
He
I'm gonna.
he has definitely kind of upped that run game over there in Dallas. And I know you guys can't see me, but I'm sitting here doing all these motions with my hands. This Dallas team has got me pumped this season. Their
Yeah,
yeah.
offense is going. Their defense is playing just the way they need to be playing to have a great season, and they've already totaled their wins from last year as well, with only 2 wins, I believe it was.
hmm,
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna
one more
say.
win this week, and they'll end up totaling their last 2 seasons combined. So I'm
Wow,
pumped
that's
for them.
crazy.
um,
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm
I'm
gonna go with Tom Pepper.
Tom Pepper, all right.
okay.
I'm gonna go with Tom Pepper of the Vancouver Legion. He had a dreadful season last season with Indianapolis, and he had to really recomposed, came back to Vancouver, and Tom Pepper last week, sorry, against Chicago, 4 touchdowns, no picks, almost perfect quarterback rating, and he always delivered. It was like third down, Pepper drops back, first down, first down, first down,
Mm-hmm.
and he is obviously the leader of this offense. And as Rob was saying, Vancouver right now, very good team, a team to watch out, and he is the leader. So I'm
Yes.
gonna say Tom Pepper of the Legion.
All right. I can respect that
Oh.
choice.
I'm all about consistency, man. So I'm gonna go with Xander Gold, man.
All
I've
right.
always liked him as a player, and he's been one of the most consistent quarterbacks that we've seen since last season. Currently this year, he's actually the only quarterback in triple digits for completions per attempts. So he's like 104 or 125 for his attempts. He's at over 1,000 yards passing. But the big thing that stands out to me is that he has 11 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions, right? And so as a quarterback, you want to have that as big a gap as possible,
Yep.
there. So yeah, I think he's a standout player,
All right.
uh,
Yeah,
someone I like to watch.
and one of those big things for Xander too is he's having a really efficient year. I mean, you brought up the completions and attempts for that, and for those of you that aren't really all that great at math, that equates basically to about an 83 to 84% completion percentage, which actually leads the league through the first 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yep,
Yeah, the
QBR
first
is
week he went
122.
like yeah, first week he went 31 from 34,
Yeah,
and
something
two
crazy
out,
like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
and 2 out of those 3 incompletions were interceptions. So only one ball hit the ground, and
Yeah.
right.
yeah, and most importantly, they got the W against the Hyenas that week. So
Yep.
Yep,
um,
yep,
really consistent and very consistent. He could be the MVP.
yep.
Yeah,
I
definitely the early going. I could see as how he kind of leads that MVP charge, honestly.
hmm
So, all right, and with that, I'm pretty much out of ideas of what to talk about here. The new kind of formats just letting it run loose. We've been about 45 minutes here. Is there anything that you guys specifically doesn't? I mean, just whatever it is, anything you guys want to shout out or you want to have a little spiel about?
Um, no, man. Shout out to everybody in the SFL, man. Just
Yeah,
keep doing what you're doing. Keep the community thriving, right? you know.
yeah, most definitely. And if I have to if say something is support us and on the SFL Blitz Twitch front page this Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Time. Be there. Five
Definitely.
games at the same time, and these are good games. This is not, bad. This is very New Orleans Pharaohs against the 2-1 Chicago Wildcats. You have the two-time runner-up Tallahassee Pride against the 2-0 Las Vegas Fury. You have the Dallas Lobos looking really good against the Denver Nightwing. You have very
Yep.
good games, and please be there, support us, and just enjoy a great week of SFL action. This is a very exciting season. There's a lot of rookies and sophomore players
Yep.
who stuck in, and they are some of the biggest um, stars in the SFL, and it's so compelling to watch how they progress because they're still maybe bronze or silver players. It's so compelling to see how they are progressing, and just stay tuned, stay around, and just enjoy this week of great SFL action.
Yeah, and it kind of for anybody that's listening right now that's not actually part of the SFL yet, this either came up around on your recommendations or one of your friends like, hey, check this out, and so you're just kind of going through on our YouTube channel here, just kind of going through different things and giving it a listen. And if you made it this far in the podcast, thank you. We really appreciate it. Anytime you guys actually listen to us just ramble on and on about this stuff, it makes it all that much more worth it. But if you want to figure out how to kind of actually get involved in this, just check out our website, check out our Discord. The website Simulation FL, I think believe it's .net now, but I believe .com will still redirect you to it. You can check, you
Yes.
can join the Discord from there. It's a great community, honestly. Um, we're going pretty strong here. We got more people joining nearly every day. We got a handful of rookies already just itching at the bit to get onto a team. You have 21 teams basically that you can join almost instantly. You just got to join the Discord. You got to be nice, be nice, and just be active. That's all you got to do. I mean, a lot of these people here on the Discord will literally they'll just sit down. They'll talk sports with you. They'll talk video games with you. They'll talk just about
Movies,
anything with you.
series,
Yeah,
yeah.
life.
it doesn't matter. I mean, I've had people I've built friendships in here that I know I'll be having. If I ever leave here, I'll know I'll still have people that I'm talking to from here, and I know that.
Hmm.
Right.
And I'm really thankful for having found it on that one fateful day, as I say, back in November of 2018 or 2017. My bad, actually. That was back when I think Ramos knows about that time frame actually. Uh,
Yeah.
and for those of you that don't know, that would be the season 9
Late
championship game,
October.
late
Yeah.
October.
October the 25th.
Yep, you
Oh
see,
man.
Ramos has even got the day.
October
So,
the 25th, 2017. Yes, sir.
and if there's a man in there, if you go into the join the Discord, just immediately message a man named Ray Bentley. He'll tell you all about it. He'll just stroke the ego for him for a little bit. So, but no, for real. I mean, it's a great community. It's something that I think a lot of people would enjoy, and it's just it's been getting more and more shared. We get more people in the introductions channel that say, "Hey, so and so told me about this. Thought I'd come check it out. I watched some videos. It looks really awesome. What do I do?" And we get people like that nearly every day. And I feel that the more the word gets out here, the bigger the league's going to get, and the more attempts we're going to be able to do. Like we're going to do the SFL Blitz this weekend. This wouldn't have been possible without all the support and all the help from all the people that are within the league itself already. And
No,
if
no.
and
Look.
if you can't join to be a player immediately, we have different things you can do too. You ever done casting for any sort of game? You've done like Rocket League. You've done casting for Counter Strike. It doesn't matter. We have broadcasters you can do. You can do tryouts for that. You can be a part of the beat writing team, which is actually where I got my start for staff outside of player positions. You can be part of the stats team, help our broadcasting teams really shine by having up to date stats for them to be able to reflect on. There's a lot of different things. I mean, I think there's a social media thing even we can do. It's just for that matter, we could possibly even use you on the podcast. You never know. So you're never gonna know what you can do until you actually join it.
Amen.
So, all right, you guys feeling pretty good there? Wrap it up here and let our people get on their merry way.
Yeah,
most definitely.
Good, man.
All right.
You
thank
telling
you very
people
much for
to
listening.
look? You telling people to seek out information from Ray Bentley, man. Just make sure you don't touch his. Make sure you don't touch his fanny pack. I don't know what he got inside that fanny pack, but he guards it with his life.
Make sure you try some of his. I think he calls it his champion broccoli. So, but with that, I'm going to bid you guys all a good night here. This is going to be released here, actually probably a little bit before the Friday night games. So if you're listening to this before the Friday night game, enjoy the Friday night game here. We're going to have London versus Indianapolis. You get to see our man Roby in action here. You'll definitely see him in the Twitch chat, cheering his team on, cheering himself on inside there. And
yes, sir.
I feel it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good one, I think, and I'm excited to watch it. So I'll be there for sure as well.
Me too.
All right. Well, with that, I am the Assistant Director of Player Personnel, Ryan Karpinski. As always, or almost always, joined by Roby and Ramos Lynn as my analysts. And wish you guys a good weekend, safe weekend. Enjoy some SFL action, maybe a few adult beverages. Who knows? But you guys want to sign off here?
Signing off, man. Salute to everybody.
Adios.
All right.